All right, welcome back to Post Frame 360. One of your hosts here, Scott Craig, along with
Josh Nolan.
Josh Nolan. I think back to that very first podcast, kind of when we were getting acquainted, and the Nolan still rings in my ears, man.
Yeah, we might. Yeah, I don't know. Part of me thinks we should go back and re-record those first couple. The audio was so bad.
Oh my gosh, it was painful, right? It was painful.
Yeah.
I had one of our vendors, he picked up the podcast not too long ago, and he came in and he was like, yeah, it's nice to see that you guys got better. Those first couple were rough. And I'm like, man, I appreciate your honesty. So, but hey, you know what?
It is what it is.
That is a great opening to what we're going to talk about today. Reflecting, right? So here's the question, and this isn't like my question. For those of you who know, we recently had an event with Mark Eastman, and we're looking forward to doing more of those in the near future. We had some really great feedback from our attendees, and they found it really, really valuable to their business, and just not only learning something new, but the networking opportunity. So there's a lot of good things to that. So we're going to do that again in the near future. But one of the ways that Mark opened his session was, if you knew today what you man, I'm screwed up on how I'm going to say this. All right. Would you still do what you're doing today when you started your business if you knew what you knew today? There we go. Man,
yeah, it's a tough one.
A brain block, right? I was trying to be in the present and think in the past and think toward the future. But it's such a great question, right? Because as you started your company and maybe you stumbled into it, maybe you planned for it, and whether you're a year down the road or 10 years down the road, you've learned so much along the way. And you can probably look back and go, man, I made a lot of mistakes, or man, I was not polished, or, I really had to do a lot of hammering to square up that building. And I think that's part of what Josh and I are talking about here is, when we started this podcast, it was an idea to really communicate with you guys initially, just as our clients, customers of Burroughs, to communicate with you. And it was clunky at first, right? We had to find a rhythm. We had to figure out our equipment and just get comfortable with podcasting. It's not easy to sit here and talk into a microphone and a computer screen and convey our feelings, our emotions, what's important, inflections in your voice. And it's not to manipulate you. It's just getting comfortable with doing something new and then going back and reflecting. And so it is good for Josh and I to go back and watch some of those earlier podcasts for two reasons. One is self-critique, right? What did we do? But it's also a reflection of how far have we come? How great are things? But sitting here today, I can tell you there's a lot of things we would have done different. Even in the planning stages, we would have done different. So let's talk about that, Josh. Thinking about where we are currently, looking back on where we've been, and then thinking about where we're going.
You're spot on, Scott. I think when I think about this, one of the things I think about is making yourself uncomfortable. I think sometimes we're really comfortable with where we're at, and it's good to a point, but if you want to continue to grow with whatever it is you're doing, you got to put yourself in some uncomfortable situations. I think sometimes to be able to grow and take that next step. And yeah, I mean, the first couple podcasts, we didn't know what especially me, my equipment was horrible. I didn't have the best internet, and that showed, right? The speeds weren't great. So, when you add all those things together, it wasn't good. And we say that now feeling like, we kind of have it starting to get this figured out. We're doing so much better. But then I think about, where are we going to be a year from now? Oh my goodness, we're going to look back on this and think, oh my gosh, we still had so much to learn, with how to podcast and, the best practices, so to speak. And I think our clients can look at it the same way with their businesses, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And there's a couple of things there that you said. There's three things. Number one, comfortable, right? So I want to talk about what you said about being comfortable. Number two is, looking back and look and thinking about where we are now, and then what's it going to look like a year from now. The third thing will come back to me. Let's go to the first one first. So the idea of scary and comfort. I think about this outside of, just this conversation right now. I've had this conversation a lot lately. As some of you know, I'm actively involved in ministry outside of what I do here at Burroughs. And, um, when you get into a place of comfort and stagnation, yeah, it's comfortable. And yeah, everything's safe. I kind of got a handle on everything and everything's in control. But at some point, you're going to get dissatisfied or bored or something's not right or I'm frustrated all the time. And it's a good thing to stop and say, wait a second, where's this coming from? Right? Where's this coming from? If you're frustrated with your business, well, stop, take some time and reflect. Where's that coming from? I had to do that this morning, right? There's something else that outside of work that I'm processing and I'm frustrated, right? And so this morning I was doing some reflection and I was like, where is this frustration coming from? Because it's not who I am. Like I'm not a guy that, likes to be frustrated. So it's not something I'm wanting to happen. But I had to say, where is this coming from? So that I know how to process through that. Okay. So taking the time to kind of do a pulse check. What's going on? What is my perspective? What is my mood? Are there things that have moved me to a negative way of thinking? So if I'm in a negative thought pattern, then nothing's going to look right. Everything's going to be screwed up and messed up, and I'm just not going to get out of that. Right. So, got to break the cycle if you're in a negative mindset. Okay. Now, that's not to say, oh, I'm just going to be happy today. Like, what's the cause? Go to the cause
Mhm.
and address that. Okay. So, one of those things is taking the step into the uncomfortable, oftentimes leads us to the next big thing. Right. I equate it to, let's say you've never been to the Grand Canyon. Okay. You've never been to the Grand Canyon and you're like, I'm going to go hike the Grand Canyon. You can do this one of two ways. You can show up, hope you find the right trailhead, hope if you've never done it before, you got lucky and packed the right gear, and then you can make the trek. Let me tell you right now, I would highly discourage that. Bad idea. Okay. You need someone that has been in the canyon. You need someone that knows how to make sure you've got the right gear, not too much gear. And there's other things about the canyon that you would never even imagine. One of the biggest things that a guide will tell you is if you're in the canyon and you hear what sounds like a helicopter coming down, you drop everything and you start climbing a wall because that's actually floodwaters coming down the canyon because it could rain 50 miles up and it will come on you 20, 30 feet tall, just a wall of water, right? You wouldn't know that if you've never been. So you need a guide. But whenever you take that first step off the edge of the canyon down the switchbacks, which by the way, it's a mile of switchbacks down into the base of the canyon, it's a little scary. And if you don't have a guide to get you there, then you're probably going to make a lot of mistakes and you may not make it out. And so hopefully that analogy helps a little bit of you have to have someone that you can say, hey, I want to go there. You've been there before. Show me.
Yeah, and
And it
that
doesn't take the fear out.
you can take that back to our Mark Eastman event, right? I
Mhm,
mean, he's someone who's been there. He's had a lot of experience and been through a lot of things, and has a lot of great tools for a new or young business owner. And
mhm,
this isn't a Mark Eastman promotion. It's just, hey, like this, it validates exactly what Scott's just now saying, right? It's important
mhm.
to learn about what you're going to be doing. The Yeah, you can just jump in head first, but like Scott said, it could bite you in the butt if you're not careful. And so I like the idea of making sure you're doing some homework, doing some research,
Mhm.
getting your ducks in a row, and then move forward.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like having a mentor. And man, guys, I'm working on this. It is so hard for me to ask for help. It's and yeah, initially it was pride. It was ego. I got to do this on my own. If I don't do it on my own, then it doesn't have value. So I had to get past some of that, but there's just part of me that I don't want to make someone else's I don't wanna make my problems someone else's problems. I don't wanna go to someone and say, "I don't know what I'm doing," and then ask them to invest their time or take away from their things, right? So I take a lot of times, I push against asking for help out of not wanting to trouble someone else. But here's the thing, one of my great friends, man, it was, uh, it was a kick in the you know what. He came to me and he said, "Hey, Scott." I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Hey, how does it make you feel when, someone asks you for help and you get to help them?" And I was like, "What?" He goes, "No, man, how do you feel whenever someone asks you for help, you know, 'cause you know how to build." He goes, "I've asked you multiple times to help me build something, and you're always like, 'Yeah, sure, I'm happy to do that.' How do you feel?" I was like, "Yeah, feels good. I love to help." He goes, "Yeah, that's awesome. I know you do." He goes, "You know what? You know how many people around you would love to help you, and you never ask for help. Why are you robbing all of us of the joy that you get in helping people, but you don't let us have the joy of helping you?" Bro.
That's deep.
Whew. Yeah, like, that's a good friend right there
Yeah,
because that was
absolutely.
hard to hear, but man, I needed to hear it, and so that's what's helped me start learning how to ask for help. Now, it's not asking everyone else to do my work for me.
Mhm.
It's saying, "Look, I need help in these areas." And so, yeah, you mentioned Mark Eastman. I would say, man, go listen to that podcast we did and think about what it would look like to have a business mentor, not a business consultant, not someone's going to say, "Hey, give me $200,000 and I'll turn your business around." I call bullshit on that. I've seen that too
Mhm.
many times. Okay. Someone who wants to share their knowledge and help you be better. Look for that. The other thing I'll say is NFBA, right? If you've never been to the NFBA, or if you have, you know what I'm saying. Coming to the NFBA puts you in an arena of a lot of people who've got a lot of miles on the trail of running businesses, whether it's post frame, whether it's a supplier, but find those connections and don't be afraid to be vulnerable with some of the areas that you need help. Is that fair,
Mhm.
Josh?
Oh, 100%. And you said it right. I mean, don't pay a couple 100,000 for some big flashy business to come in and help you start your small business, right?
Mhm.
There are plenty of people out there that'll help you do it for free
Right.
or very little,
Yeah.
right?
Right. Right.
Take
Yeah, and
advantage of that.
yeah, and I think part of it is just, having the encouragement. One of the biggest breakthroughs that I think I ever had was realizing that I wasn't alone. Being a contractor, I would say, can be a lonely job, especially if you're doing most of it yourself, right? So
Mhm.
if you're the business owner, you're doing payroll, you're managing your employees, you're managing the subs, you're going out to the job site, you're swinging the hammer. Well, you could say, "Well, Scott, now let me just say, you know what I mean when I say it can be a lonely job. It
Mhm.
can be really, really lonely, and you can get into a rhythm, but you also have blind spots. And I think that's something else I would say to all of us as leaders. Don't be so arrogant and prideful that you don't admit you have blind spots. You do, right? Because when you're leading your business, when you're doing the HR, when you're doing the hiring, who do you have there that you allow to say, "Hey, you know what? You're kind of making the business more of a priority than you are your people. Hey, you know what? You've been going nonstop 10, 12 hours a day for the past 4 months, and you need to take a break. Hey, you know what? You've been so focused on building that you have not been doing any selling." You have to have
Mhm.
those checks and balances in place. And if you set yourself up as the great guru of your business and you have no one that sees what you can't, which is your six, it's your back, right? Military terms, a battle buddy. I've got your six. What does that mean? You cannot see your own back. You can't see what's behind you. You need someone else to do that. So when you're running your business and you're focused out here, you can't see everything back there. You need help. Okay. You have to be able to trust someone in order to have a successful business.
Man, yeah. That's good advice. 100%. I wish I had something to dive right in and add to that, Scott, but I don't feel it would be powerful enough right now because
Yeah.
that's good stuff. Yeah, you
Yeah.
definitely have to have somebody watching your back, right? In
Yeah.
business
Well,
and
and you do. And Josh, I sometimes I'm too transparent, but oh well, it is what it is. We've been transparent on this podcast with Burroughs and where we've been, right? We've had some struggles, we've had some road bumps, we've been trying to figure some stuff out. Some things have gone our way, other things haven't gone our way. And we've been trying to figure it out. I'm tasked with certain things here at Burroughs, right? My team, there were specific things that I need to do, but then there's also parts of me that I bring to that, right? One of the things about me is I care a lot about people.
Mhm.
um, do I take pride in the work that I do? Yes, I do. Do I take the responsibility seriously? Yes, I do. For me, what's the most important part? Guys, this may be the last time I talk to you. Could get fired for this one. It's not about putting dollars in the coffers of Burrow Supply. It's not. My purpose for being here is the people that I've been tasked to lead, you as our clients and customers, making sure that I can do everything within my power to make sure that I give you what you need, the services that Burroughs offers, so that you can be successful. If I do those things right, then the expectation is you're profitable, I am profitable, my people enjoy working here. Like, that's the goal. If the goal is just the dollar, your life is going to be even lonelier than it is right now.
You're spot on, Scott. I mean, you have to, we do. This is what we do, and
Hmm.
you're definitely not getting fired for saying that. You did tee yourself up. I'm like, shoot, what's he about to say? Uh, but
Scandalous.
yeah, no, but you're spot on. I mean, I'm the leader of this, sales and marketing leader for the company, and I view our clients as partners, each and every one of them. And
Hmm.
so that means is the dollar important? No, but I mean it is. Okay.
Hmm.
Yes, of
Hmm.
course it's important. But if we treat our clients like partners and we take care of them, they're going to take care of us and we'll
Yep.
all have enough. We'll
Yes.
all have enough,
Yeah.
right? And so that's what it's all about, and you hit that spot on.
Yeah. And there's a part of this, Josh, and I get it, right? And if you've been listening up to this point and you haven't tuned out yet, we're guys. Like, we're guys. We're tough. We don't. Here's the thing: get in touch with your feminine side here. Vulnerability. Let's be honest, guys. We're afraid of vulnerability, being vulnerable. So, like, let's say I open myself up to someone, like a business mentor, and he goes in a kind, professional way, truthful way. Hey, you know what, Frank? Got to tell you, you haven't done a great job with your business. You haven't planned your money well. You're really, really vulnerable in this area. Your people don't like you because you treat them as pawns, not as people. Like, right?
Hmm.
That level of vulnerability. But here's the thing: if you never let anyone in and you never take that risk, it's going to be hard to grow. And here's the thing: it's never fun to hear. It's not fun to be constructively criticized. It's not fun to be told you missed that one. It's not fun to be told, hey, you're failing over here. It's not fun. But if you know that the intention of the person speaking those words is true, they're not trying to hurt you, they're not trying to damage you, they're just telling you the truth. Do you know how valuable that is?
Hmm.
I think we're kind of taught by culture to push against criticism and, oh, be kind, oh, just kind of try to say what you mean without saying what you mean, and it leads to a lot of confusion, right? And it's not real common in our world to be authentically truthful. We either tiptoe or we go scorched earth. And I'll bring this back in. So, like Josh and I, Josh is my superior. Okay. I report to Josh. However, Josh and I have an element of watching each other six. Okay. I
Hmm.
had to take some risks in how much can I trust Josh. Josh, you and I had a conversation yesterday. I was pretty transparent, right?
Hmm.
And you could take some of what I told you and you could 100% torpedo my career here with some of the things that I shared with you. Okay. I'm going to take the risk of trusting you. You've shown me that I can trust you. But the reason why I did that is I I'm a verbal processor, right? Whenever I can't figure something out, I don't hide from my emotions. I need to talk it through. And I feel comfortable enough with you, Josh, even though you're my superior, to talk it through. And you are kind enough, professional enough to hear me out, call me out, to call me up when you need to. But it's an element of, hey, I can't do this by myself. I'm not going to silo myself off and just push down my frustrations. I'm going to take a risk.
100%. Yeah. And it's great to have someone you can trust like that, right? You
Hmm.
have to. And yeah, you and I are a lot alike in the respect of, you can be thinking about something, something can be weighing on you. When
Hmm.
you talk about it with someone who my wife comes home, I'm going to spin
Uh
this a
oh.
little
Uh
bit.
oh.
My
Maybe we
wife will
should talk
come,
football.
yeah, exactly. She's an assistant principal, right? So
Uh huh.
I hear all the stories, and I want to be there for her. I want to listen to her, but it's hard because it's not my life. I don't know anything about it, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
And so, I guess just it's good if you have someone that like Scott knows that I understand what he wants to talk about, and just to be able to vocalize that and talk yourself through it
Hmm.
is it's amazing, because how many times then can you hang up the phone or walk away from that visit thinking I feel so much better for have
Yeah.
had that conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's great. And it is scary, right? Let's kind of go back a little bit to the Grand Canyon analogy. And I use this as an analogy because I hiked it, man. So what I'm telling you here is
I'm
legit.
learning. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know anything about it
Yeah.
except it's a big hole.
Yeah. Oh my, yeah, it's a big hole. Yeah. So like whenever when I planned for that trip, right? We planned like 9 months in advance of going. You don't just wake up one morning and go, "Hey, I'm gonna drive out tomorrow to Arizona. I'm gonna go hike." You don't do that. All right. There are a lot of things you got to do before you go hike the Grand Canyon. First of all, you got to get yourself in some kind of shape. You're gonna die if you don't. Let me tell you, going down a mile of switchbacks, coming out, oh, dude,
Hmm.
I was dragging, you
Can I
know.
take the elevator?
Yeah, well, it's called a helicopter. I won't say that. I'd get in trouble. There was a celebrity, right? Someone you all know, like you would look and go, dude is built. Hiked down to the bottom, couldn't get out, called in a helicopter. So yeah. Anyway, side note, but yeah,
That would
don't
be
let your eyes
expensive,
fool
wouldn't
you.
it? I mean, somebody has to pay for that chopper, I imagine.
Oh, the celebrity has, like I said, well known, had plenty of money to fly himself out, but
But what happens if big old fat Josh gets down there and can't get out? Who's paying for that chopper?
Josh,
I'm
see,
just
when you make a
saying.
statement
I
like
don't
that,
know.
what do I say to that? Like, I
I
can't.
don't know.
Yeah, no. So,
Nah, never mind. Moving on. Sorry.
all right, moving on. So, like, there's all this planning that goes into it, and there's the excitement, the anticipation. I'll be honest, when we finally got there and got to the edge of the South Rim, and you look down, do I really want to do this? Boy, what if I can't? What if I can't do this? What if I get down there and realize I can't get back out? What if I didn't bring enough water? What if it gets too cold? What if camping for 2 nights in a row is more than I can take? Like all the what ifs, all the questions, all the uncertainties. Those are common as a business owner. I think that's really, really common in construction, right? Like there are so many unknowns in construction. Right now, we got ice everywhere. Can I build tomorrow? What's the weather going to do? And having someone that you can rely on, someone that you can talk to. So if you don't have that someone, man, start thinking about finding that someone that you can connect with. And over time, hopefully can come to a place of mutual trust where you can ask one of the hardest questions you'll ever ask of someone else. And that question is this: tell me what it is I don't want to hear. You've spent time with me. You know what I do. Tell me what I don't want to hear. A lot of you are probably sitting there right now and things just got a little tight. Oh, right? That's a vulnerable, exposing question. But when you learn, well, first of all, having the right person that you're comfortable enough that you know is going to authentically tell you the answer to that, and they truly have your best wishes at heart, it is one of the most liberating questions you can ever ask, because it is one of the most liberating, freeing answers you'll ever get.
On top of that, you could, after you have had time to internalize it,
Mm-hmm.
is use that to fuel your fire for the
Yes.
future.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
100%.
another great feeling is understanding that that person's right in what they're telling you about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You being able to use that to fuel your own fire, to grow from that,
Mm-hmm.
just to prove yourself and prove everybody wrong. No, that really wasn't me. Well, maybe it was, but
Mm-hmm.
you can do more. But sometimes
Yes.
you just need to be kickstarted.
You need to be kickstarted. You need to have
Hmm.
someone that you will allow to hold you accountable, to ask the tough questions,
Hmm.
but truly has your best interest in mind. It's someone that you invite into the journey. It is a guide. And this guide doesn't have to be there the rest of your life, but you also don't use people and throw them away, right? But inviting someone in, hey, you know what? I've been in business for 4 years and I'm kind of at a plateau. I can't seem to get beyond. Would you mind, helping me with that? Ask me some questions, challenge me, right? You don't just, oh, I'm gonna call up Scott and I'm gonna have him for lunch and ask these questions. Don't do that, right? It takes some time. But if you were to call up Scott, now this is an example, guys. I'm here to help, but I can't help everyone, right? But if you were to call me up, hey Scott, I heard the podcast. Would you like to have lunch? Maybe, maybe. I'm not saying I won't, but maybe. This is an analogy. So we have lunch, and you tell me a little bit about you. And maybe it was a great conversation. Maybe it was mutually beneficial. Okay. I encouraged you. You encouraged me. There's value in another conversation. It takes time. You don't want to show up and throw up. Don't just show up and expose everything, right? Take time to get to know the person that you're inviting in and give them time to get to know you. You need to know each other's capabilities, each other's resources, and ultimately, it should be mutually beneficial.
Hmm.
Don't be a consumer, be a contributor.
That's a good way to wrap this thing up, Scott. We're at the 28-minute marker, and man, you
Sorry.
you just nailed it. No, that's great. No, I think we're at a point that we can close this out. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Hmm.
So do what you do. Close this
Hey,
out.
we appreciate you listening. I always say this: if you like what you hear, please like and subscribe to our podcast and share us with your network and friends and family. We would appreciate it. So,
Yeah, 100%. And here's the other thing. If you don't like what you hear, please don't just tune us out. Tell us what you don't like. That's the other thing is we're going to live it out right here. If I don't know what you don't like, if I don't hear from you, our listeners, what we could do better, then how can I get better? How can Josh get better? So if you're like, guys, y'all suck, tell us, right?
Josh just
Tell
needs
us
to turn his microphone up a little bit.
Josh needs to quit talking football, right? Whatever it is, tell us. We want to get better and we are going to live what we just spoke. We invite you in to helping us be better. Email us. Tell us what we can do better because without you, there's no point in the podcast. Peace
All
out.
right. Until next time.
See you guys.